Now, as you guys can see right here in one of my long-term portfolios, I've been buying shares of SCHD or the Schwab US Dividend Equity ETF every single day, sometimes one share, sometimes two or three, for the past several months and now several years. And because of these consistent daily buys into my favorite dividend growth style ETF, SCHD, across all my portfolios as of right now, I currently have 2,200 shares as of today, with an average cost per share at just under $25 per share. And just as of recently, I had someone ask me, what would actually happen to your long-term portfolio if you just kept buying SCHD ongoingly, just the way you're doing so as of right now, for several years to come? And because I'm currently 32 years old and already have 2,200 shares of SCHD and plan to keep buying more shares at least for a while, I figured I might as well make a video about this because I honestly don't really even know the outcome myself. So in this video, we're going to go over exactly that. We're going to go through the math and see what would happen if I continue to buy shares of SCHD at the current rate that I've been buying these shares at for the last few years, how many shares I would end up with, how much dividend income, and everything else. So make sure to stick around until the end. Real quick, for those that haven't already, make sure to go to the first link in my description and grab my new dividend investing ebook, where I share exactly how I went from $0 invested to now earning over $6,000 on a monthly basis and over $1 million invested in the markets. Along with the ebook, you're also going to receive my custom dividend tracker, where you can track your dividend progress on an ongoing basis and reach your dividend investing goals. So make sure to grab yourself a copy of my dividend investing ebook and the new dividend tracker today. It's the first link in my description. Now, just to back things up for a second, to be completely clear, the reason I personally am so fond of this ETF and the reason this ETF is one of my largest holdings across my 7-figure portfolio is honestly pretty simple. I'm a long-term dividend investor that wants to buy into different ETFs and stocks that offer upside potential, but I also want a lot of dividend income ASAP. And this is simply because even though as of right now I'm 32 years old and I'm not looking to retire today or tomorrow, I personally am looking to build out a long-term portfolio to the point to where at some time in the future, the total monthly dividends can cover all my bills and then some. Now, at what age am I going to start using my portfolio's dividends to start paying my bills? Honestly, as of right now, my mind isn't necessarily made up on that. But maybe within the next 2, 4, 6, 8 years, I'll probably start using at least some of my dividend income to pay for things like bills, expenses, help out family and friends, go on vacations, etc. So for that reason, across the entire spectrum of dividend growth style ETFs, I'm talking about names like DGRO, names like BYM, names even like VU, I needed to pick an ETF that not only was probably going to keep growing over time, which I believe SCHD will do, but also I need something that's going to offer a decent starting yield, which as of right now, my yield on cost for SCHD is around 4%. But along with that, the other main reason I decided to buy SCHD over the past few years, and the reason I've been buying shares of it every single day, more or less, is because I wanted to find an ETF that at least historically has offered massive dividend growth, which means even if I buy into SCHD today and I'm only getting paid, say, 3 to 4% yield on cost, in the future, if the dividends keep going up like they have historically, my dividend income is going to be massive by the time I'm 35, 40, 50 years old, etc. And with SCHD offering historical dividend growth rates, this ETF definitely ticks off all the boxes of what I'm looking for. Now, to go over and try to figure out exactly what would happen if I consistently kept buying shares of SCHD like I am right now, buying say 3 to 4 shares every single day, which, side note, ever since this ETF split as of recent, I personally have been buying much more SCHD, and comment down below if you've been doing the same. And also, side note, if you guys want this SCHD dividend calculator, it's going to be in my description for free. So definitely type in your own amount of shares and mess around with it. I built this for you guys. But as of right now, at 32 years old, I currently have 2,200 shares of SCHD. And again, as this year comes to a close, I'm probably going to end up with somewhere around 2,400 shares, I'm hoping. But with 2,200 shares of SCHD as of right now, at 32 years old, because this ETF pays around 98 cents per share on a yearly basis, this means that as of right now, I'm currently earning around $2,156 in dividend income per year, or around $179 more or less per month. Now, as far as SCHD's dividend growth rate in the future, who really knows what's going to happen? It could consistently be at 10%, 9%, 7%, or really anything of the sorts, but let's just go with 10% for fun. Now, this means in the future, if the ETF raises their dividends like they have historically, even if I wouldn't buy another single share, my dividend income is going to keep going up, because at 98-cent annual payouts would in the future potentially be $1.08 per share. Then later on, maybe $1.19, $1.30, and then maybe if the dividend growth rate stayed at 10%, which again, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, by 2034, I could be earning $2.54 per share, which means my dividend income would be over $5,500 from the exact same 2,200 shares that I own as of today. Now, with the amount of SCHD shares that I've been buying consistently, over the last year, I probably have bought around 750 shares. So this means that realistically, if I just kept doing what I was doing as of right now and buying 3 shares per day, more or less, maybe 4 some days, maybe 5, maybe some days less, I could have 3,000 shares pretty simply by the end of 2025. Now this means that my dividend income would be around $3,000 to start, and by 2034, we're talking $7,600 and some change. Now this also means that because I'm currently 32 years old and we're trying to see what things could look like by the time I'm 40, if I bought 750 shares every single year, which again is realistic considering the amount of cash balance I sort of work with on a daily basis at this point, I could easily buy 6,000 more shares over the next 8 years. Now, if I currently have 2,200 shares, which I do as of right now, and I bought 6,000 more shares throughout my 30s, by the time I'm 40 years old, if I consistently just kept buying the amount that I'm buying as of right now, which again, maybe I will keep buying more SCHD forever, but in my opinion, I think that I probably want to move into some other ETFs also. But just for a thought process, if I got to 8,000 shares, at the current annual SCHD payout, that's around $8,000 per year in dividends, or 10 years extrapolated out with a 10% dividend growth rate, we're talking about over $20,000 in dividend income for this one single position. Now, this also means that if I kept doing the same exact thing, buying say 700, 800, 900 shares on a yearly basis, which again is somewhere around 3 shares more or less per day, by the time I'm 50 years old, I could be sitting on 16,000 plus shares, which could be paying me anywhere from $15,000 all the way up to $40,000 if we were to extrapolate out over time. Now, like I said, when it comes to SCHD, the real magic for me personally is the dividend growth rates and the idea of owning, say, 2,200 shares and maybe even never buying another single share from here, but knowing that at least based off of historical data, that my dividends will grow over time because SCHD's dividend growth rate has been pretty magical. And that gives me a lot of peace of mind knowing that at least, hopefully, my dividend income can maybe not only keep up with, but maybe outpace inflation throughout the next, say, 10, 20 years. So this is why I think it's so important, especially for younger dividend growth investors, to build out a high quality foundational position in a high quality index fund into a dividend growth ETF, something like SCHD, DGRO, VYM, something that has a track record, something that has a high quality strategy methodology, and something that's going to pay you more and more in dividend income long term. Because again, as long as you can hold on to your investment, sit on your hands, you're going to be earning more and more dividend income over the years, as long as you buy into something that at least has a track record of growing their dividends consistently. So now that I share with you guys exactly how many shares of SCHD I'm currently holding onto right now, why I love this ETF so much specifically for me personally, and also what the extrapolation could look like in the future if I just kept buying the amount of shares I'm buying as of right now. When it comes to SCHD, my favorite dividend growth ETF, how many shares across your portfolios are you holding on to? Let us know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to please drop a like on it and subscribe for more future content like this. Thanks as always for stopping by, and if you are interested in investing, make sure to check out these recent videos I posted right here.